What is the status of your litigation? You were illegally detained by the Department of Homeland Security at Dulles Airport. Your digital devices were illegally seized from you. The government recognized that when they returned them to you within 24 or 48 hours. You have great civil liberties lawyers putting the government's feet to the fire. I believe you appeared before Judge Leone Brinkema either yesterday or the day before. Where does the litigation stand? Has the government tried and failed to dismiss the case?
The government is the U.S. government, and specifically the Trump administration, under the watch of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, has tried and failed to get my case dismissed. And my case is a lawsuit that demanded the return of my phones and the return of all data and copies that were taken off the phones. I got the phones back. The government submitted an affidavit declaring that they were unable to gain access to my phones through brute force, which they attempted. Apparently, the phones were removed and sent to some sort of other DHS expert in brute force opening of phones, and they claim that they failed. I'm pretty sure they've lied before. We can't take them at their word. So we went to court. I had my day in court yesterday at the Eastern District Court before federal judge Leone Brinkema, and she declared that my Fourth Amendment rights were violated when the government not only attempted a basic search, but attempted an advanced search of my phones. She recognized that I am a reporter. She cast this in light of the dangerous precedent set by the Trump subpoenas for New York Times reporters who had exposed various security breaches and cost overruns in the corrupt $400 billion gifting of a Qatar jet airliner to Trump to be Trump Force One. And she refused the government's request to dismiss the case as miscellaneous and authorized limited discovery on our part. And at that point, the government's lawyer declared that they would resist any attempt to determine why I was subjected to this secondary screening and had my phone seized. And that to me is the most fascinating part,
right?
Because that's what that's really the heart of the case here, which is that I am being targeted for my political views, for the viewpoints I've expressed as a journalist by Israel-aligned forces close to the Trump administration, and that the Trump administration made a political move, not a move that had anything to do with national security, in violating my Fourth Amendment rights. And this is also a First Amendment case. So the case has moved forward against the Trump administration's wishes.
Yeah, baby, it's episode 94 of The Whiners on August 6, 2026. Jeff Norman and Morgan Blythe with you, as we almost always are on Thursday nights. Ryan Milton is out tonight, getting a pedicure. And tonight, we have the great pleasure of a return appearance by Jenin Younes, who is the president and legal director of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, known as the ADC. And Jenin, I think I might have sold you short a little bit on that intro where it said First Amendment attorney, because you have expertise in other areas of the law as well, but you've been making quite a splash in the free speech arena, mostly in the last few years. So apologies for that, but maybe we can get into some of your other expertise as well. How you doing tonight?
Sure. I'm good. Thanks for bearing with me through technological issues.
It happens.
Hey, as long as I have good wine at an affordable price, it's no problem. But apologies to the audience.
No $20 wine for you, though.
Well, as a matter of fact, the wine is $12 to be specific.
Dan Crenshaw will be happy to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw his tweet about this.
No. What do you mean?
What is it?
Oh, he was like, the $20 burrito thing. All these people who say they can't afford, things are unaffordable. It's your problem. Eat ramen noodles like we all did in college. Live with 4 roommates and be miserable.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's getting as he should be piled on Twitter.
Well, is $12 in the Dan Crenshaw realm of where we should be? I don't know. It's a different. Ryan is like $40 a bottle kind of guy. I'm a $10 a bottle guy.
He has
Anyway.
fine taste.
I think Dan Crenshaw had a lot of wine when he tweeted that. That's my guess. It was late at night last night.
And
Okay, you gotta have a lot of
no, I tell you, I
courage.
picked this actually because of what I'm eating. I've been using AI lately to pair my wine, and it's actually been great. It's not letting me down at all. I have boneless, skinless chicken thighs that have been in the crock pot all day long with carrots and cabbage and a balsamic vinaigrette and diced tomatoes. And I looked this up in AI, and they said this wine is a perfect pairing with it. So that's why I picked that.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Morgan?
So I'm drinking the same thing from last week, the Unshackled wine, which I like. It's $17, so it's a little more pricey, but it's still a really good wine. So decided to go with it again. Are you having anything, Jenin, tonight?
No, I have water. I'm trying not to drink during the week to be more
You're
productive.
under oath.
I know. I swear. It's not vodka.
You can plead the fifth too, you know.
I actually cheated last night, so I was like, I can only cheat one.
Okay,
one
then you have
night
to
in a row.
stick to it. Yeah.
All right. No problem. Speaking of pleading the fifth, before we get into the issues that are squarely in your wheelhouse, I'm wondering if you might have a little comment on this issue, which is Fauci was held in contempt today by the Senate Homeland Security Committee because he invoked his Fifth Amendment right. And I think he has the right to do that because his pardon applies to only behavior up until that point, not post-pardon behavior. What do you have to say about that, Younes?
Yeah, that's far outside my area of expertise, but I have to tend to agree with you. I'm no fan of Fauci, as anybody who knows me knows, but
Right.
I think that's sort of an unfair thing to do. People do have the right to invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a fan of him, but we're not going to play favorites.
Yeah.
Now, Alan Dershowitz had he's another one I'm sure you're not a fan of.
I do not like him.
Right. But he said something very interesting, and it's such a great point if he's correct.
Yeah.
And I don't know why nobody else is saying this. The part in red there, first he says, he has the right to do it. And he says that what they should do is have Congress give him total immunity up until the present. This would not give him immunity from a perjury prosecution if he were to testify falsely, but it would immunize him from all other crimes and deny him the right to invoke the Fifth Amendment. If that's right, isn't that a great idea? And why isn't anybody else talking about it?
Yeah, well, I suspect he is, as much as I hate to admit it, he probably is right about that last sentence too, that it's more of it's like political grandstanding rather than actually trying to get at the truth.
Of course, yeah.
And by the way, the incorrect lowercase letters are Professor Dershowitz. It's not mine. That's exactly how he wrote it. Drives me crazy. The kids today with their lowercase stuff. And I can't call him a kid, though. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's trying to be a kid. Who knows?
He should know better. No.
All right, let's get into the. By the way, for the audience, sorry for the delay. We're having audio issues, and we may have to live with imperfect audio. I'd be curious from the audience. Do you hear my voice echoing? Because I hear it. I'm just going to live with it.
I still don't.
That's good news. I still hear it. It's weird.
Yeah. Audience, tell me in the comments, do you hear my voice echoing, repeating back? Just curious. All right. Well, anyway.
We want to hear from Jenin about the recent case that she was on with Max Blumenthal. We had a little snippet before with Judge Knapp, him kind of telling us what happened, but we want to kind of hear from you and what you've been up to.
So Max mostly described it correctly. He got a few things wrong. It's okay. He's not a lawyer. He's brilliant, but wasn't actually a lawsuit. It was a limited motion for the return of his phones. We prepared it very quickly. So it was just, there's a rule under the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure where if the government takes your stuff, you can say that they need to give it back, and anything, if it's electronic stuff, anything that they took off of it. So the day after we filed the motion, the government actually called him and offered to return his phones. So he got the phones, and the government argued that the case was therefore moot because he had his. Well, no, actually, I'm not quite correctly saying what happened. They also said they had tried to get data off his phones, but couldn't. So the case was moot because he had the phones and they didn't have any data. But we basically said, that's not, we need more information than that about exactly what you did with these phones. We're not going to take you at your word. We want like logs. We want, so the judge agreed with us that it was inadequate just to submit the declaration of this one supervising officer. And so she's giving them a chance to give us more evidence, and then we'll probably end up in some kind of battle, likely a protracted one about, what's a sufficient amount of evidence to satisfy us that they either didn't get anything off his phones or didn't, like they could have taken serial numbers and then try to get into contact with the company and get information. We just don't know. So
you have a perspective we don't have, because you get a lot of First Amendment issues brought to your organization, and some are more egregious than others. Some represent larger issues and some don't. What can you tell us about this situation with Max? Is there a larger issue there? Is there an important test case that could be made out of this, or what?
Yeah, in a way, it appears that the Customs and Border Protection is searching more and more people's electronic devices when they come into the country. And in a way, it might be better framed as a Fourth Amendment problem. We did both. We basically said they were targeting him for his views, but also that the government should have to have a warrant or at least some kind of individualized suspicion if they're going to go through your phone when you enter the country. Really for U.S. citizens. It's very hard to make this argument for non-citizens. I really wouldn't go there because I think like visitor non-residents especially, it's just, but the basic issue is, and I think the tension is that the Supreme Court has recognized there are very, very strong privacy interests in our phones, obviously. Like they have like more information than any 18th century office. The Fourth Amendment protects the rights of the people to be secure in their papers. That's one of the words, papers, homes, from unreasonable searches and seizures. I think so the Supreme Court has recognized in a case called Riley that our phones just contain so much information, like our contacts, our thoughts. We're all Googling and asking AI things, and our GPS data, location, like information, like just so much that the government should really have to get a warrant. But that's in tension with the rule that's developed over time, basically, that there are no Fourth Amendment rights at the border. So the government, this Customs and Border Protection, can just search they can search your luggage. But that really evolved out of national security concerns, like that your luggage could contain a bomb. Your suitcase could have a bomb or like a lot of fentanyl or something like that. So I think given the much lower chance that a phone could present an imminent national security threat, plus the extreme amounts of personal information in it, that at least something like individualized suspicion, if not a warrant, should be required. And that's kind of the legal battle that is being fought. We're not really fighting that in this particular motion. I'm not saying that we couldn't file something else down the road. But there are other cases where this is being addressed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Because apparently they do this, and they could be politically motivated, but it's hard to say if they're doing it anyway, randomly or.
Yeah.
So some people have already filed lawsuits saying that it should be based on individualized suspicion?
Yeah, there have been a lot, and the different circuits throughout the country have come up with different rules. So there's actually someone's trying to go to the Supreme Court and basically saying like the Supreme Court needs to settle this, and they should settle it in favor of like a warrant requirement, or at least like the government has to have reason to believe you did something, committed a crime. They can't just be like, hey, we don't like how you look, or we just feel like going through your phone or whatever. The Fourth Circuit, where we are in Virginia, has drawn a strange distinction too that I don't really agree with between manual searches and forensic searches. So they've said CBP officials can ask you to put in your password and go through your phone for like a couple of minutes, but they can't do an advanced forensic search that requires a warrant. And there was no dispute that they were trying to do an advanced forensic search with Max's phone. So, and the judge said, you would need a warrant for that. So she said that was a Fourth Amendment problem.
So I know you said you guys are trying to focus on the Fourth Amendment, but do you think that there is a legitimate claim for the First Amendment as well.
Yeah, we put that in the motion. I mean, because this was just a limited motion, and again,
Yeah.
a lawsuit could be filed and maybe filed in the near future, but that would be more elaborate. Let's put it that way, provide for greater forms of relief. But yeah, we also argued that he was targeted by the government, and Laura Loomer had been tweeting about him excessively, and that the government should, arrest him when he got off the plane and all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So she has done like at least 20 tweets about him and how he should be in jail since he got back. She seems kind of obsessed. Whether or not that'll be, some judges would probably say that's enough for you to get to discovery and see if the government, had interactions with Laura Loomer, if this was in fact driven by his viewpoints and the type of journalism he does. Some judges might say you're speculating. The fact this crazy woman was tweeting doesn't show anything.
We also have that one case where she was upset that Palestinian children were coming here to seek medical help.
Yeah.
And she posted about it, and then Marco Rubio came out the next day and said that they were revoking the visas. So it seems like
that's right.
It's a very strange occurrence that one thing happens, that she tweets one thing, and then it kind of takes motion within the administration.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point I hadn't thought of. Yeah. She brags about having a lot of influence over the president, and I think that's kind of generally accepted.
Yeah, and she's crazy. I mean, she's literally, she's not stable at all. So the issue, that, as I understand it, that you're focusing on behalf of Max is what the government has done with his data. They're claiming that they've just gotten rid of it, and you want to make sure. Do I understand that?
Yeah, that's right. For purposes of what we're doing with this specific motion, when he got back and they seized his phones, he wanted sort of immediate, like, we need to do something fast, so we did something fast. A lawsuit takes longer to draw up, so we could still do that, and we may.
Well, how can it be? They say they got rid of the data, and you're questioning that, but how could they possibly prove that they're not going to do anything with it? How could that be confirmed?
They said that they didn't get anything off the phone, that they tried. It was actually 2 phones. They tried and they couldn't. So, but, I'm saying we don't know. This is like the chief supervising officer for Customs and Border Protection at Dulles, I think. He probably didn't handle the phones personally. We want to know, like, who, handled them. Did they take serial numbers? Could they have put some kind of spyware on them? Could they be using information they got to contact the cloud, for instance, get information from the cloud? Because they weren't supposed to do any of that. So we want more, basically.
Okay, so what's the next step?
What's the next step?
Well, the judge ordered them to give more information about what happened by the 12th. So that's next week. And we will see, usually these things end up being a fight. Like, they give us something and we're like, well, that's not enough. You seem to be hiding something. And then it's like back and forth for a number of weeks or longer.
Well, based on how dressed up you are, you should get everything you want. And Max too. I've never seen Max.
Yeah, he wore a suit, so
it's probably not your first time getting dressed up in court.
No.
So
I don't think they should. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Jeff. You're fine.
You go. Now Morgan looks blurry. Is it just me?
I think we might have to. Maybe it's StreamYard, because I see fine. Am I blurry now?
You look blurry to me too, and like it's like pixely.
There is a storm running through, so maybe it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm being asked by Honey Merchant in Iran, all the way from Iran, to log out and log back in. But the problem is everything I uploaded in the way of videos and images is going to disappear if I do that. So.
Yeah.
It's StreamYard's problem on that end.
Yeah, I think it is a StreamYard issue, actually. Mm-hmm.
So I know that we are talking about this, I guess, crackdown on First Amendment speech. So what other, we talked about like Max Blumenthal. I think one thing that maybe it was put in the Judge Knapp thing, but there was other journalists that had gone there to cover the same thing that were not targeted like he was. But what other instances of, I guess, First Amendment infringements have the Trump administration been taking so far that you would want to call attention to?
Do you mean with respect to journalists, like in this context, or much more broadly?
you could do much more broadly if you would like.
Okay. Well, I mean, the
Anything
Trump
that would-
administration. Yeah. I mean, how long do you have? The Trump administration.
Why don't we start with,
has
why don't you focus on what's in the news? Like, for example, the coffee shop situation is
yeah.
interesting.
Well, I'm representing that guy too, actually. So the DOJ is going after this guy, a guy who owns a chain of coffee shops in New York called Poetica. Dan Goldman, who was or is the congressman for New York's 3rd district, had come in, gotten some coffee, and the owner learned about this from a barista and said, put on Instagram, I think, or Facebook, or both. Dan Goldman, heard you were in our coffee shop today. You're not welcome because homophobes, racists, and genocide enablers aren't welcome at Poetica. So Harmeet Dillon of DOJ, she's like the number 3 in DOJ's civil rights, of course, has made it her mission to just like go after people, just this ridiculous stuff using civil rights law. So they're accusing him basically of anti-Semitic discrimination, which is just insane. For saying Dan Goldman isn't welcome here, that's, you're allowed to say, I don't want this person in my shop because of their political views, or anyone who holds these political views, that's actually protected. You can say, I don't want pro-Palestine people in my coffee shop if you want. So the way they're trying to twist this into anti-Semitic discrimination is insane.
So Dan Goldman is not in a protected class. He's a guy with a political position.
Well, he arguably is in a protected class because he's Jewish, but that's not the reason he's being discriminated against. Just because you belong to a protected class doesn't mean, the discrimination has to be based on that. Yeah.
When we refer to a protected class, that's what's covered in the Civil Rights Act of 1964?
Yeah. So, and this is Title II, which applies to businesses. So it's like race, religion, national origin, color. I think those are the
I looked
categories.
up who isn't protected. That might be surprising to some people. And it includes gender, marital status, political affiliation, body weight. You can discriminate against people if they're fat or too skinny. People who are under 40 years old, caregivers, parents, ugly people. I'm in big trouble.
Those might be covered under disabilities law, though. I'm actually not sure. This is not my specialty at all. I think there might be other legal protections for them. But yeah, Title II of the Civil Rights Act does not cover those categories. Yeah.
Well, we're up against AI here. You're the legal expert. I'm just telling you what I saw online. But I was a little bit down in the dumps about my less than attractive looks, but now that you tell me I have rights under the Disabilities Act, maybe
Well, that's definitely not what I meant. I'm definitely not sure.
Hey, if I can get money out of it, it's okay. It's okay.
You can get your little handicap placard and park anywhere.
I suspect most people, I suspect you can't discriminate against someone for like being in a wheelchair. You can't say like, I'm not going to serve you because you're in a wheelchair or because you have one arm or something, I mean,
right.
Maybe. I haven't looked into that.
But that's different than being overweight, right?
Yeah.
I don't think being overweight is a disability.
Yeah, I don't either, but I don't know how they define it because again, I only have time for so much. They might have, included that in there.
Right. What other cases should we know about?
Well, we have a bunch against universities. We're actually going to be filing one. I actually shouldn't say which university, but that really persecuted a student, just put him through the ringer for pro-Palestine activity and kind of tried to retroactively like change rules and then say like you violated this rule that wasn't in existence at the time, like showing your ID when asked. And that was like not a rule that you had to carry your ID. So they were just like clearly trying to go after him in kind of a Kafkaesque situation. We have a case in Miami Beach on behalf of a woman named Raquel Pacheco who had criticized the mayor's stance on Palestine and he probably sent police to her doorstep telling her not to post such things. So we argued that's a First Amendment issue. So that's pending. We have a lot. We have a case against Randy Fine for blocking our client Amjad Masad, on Twitter.
be interesting. So what's the claim there? Since because he's a public official, he doesn't have right to block people? Or?
Yeah, the law is actually much more complicated than most people think in that area. So there's a little bit of a fight over whether a congressperson can block, because it's not the rule the Supreme Court has delineated is that you can't if you use a public account as a government official, you can't block people from the official account if you speak on behalf of the state and use the account to speak on behalf of the state. So some courts have said, oh, Congress people don't speak on behalf of the state, unlike the executive. Some other courts have said Congress people, especially if they're, for instance, as he's like announcing legislation, giving people the opportunity to interact. So the philosophy is kind of like, you're like opening a town hall and then saying, well, you can't come in because I don't like your viewpoint. It's sort of analogous to that.
Well, that's interesting. I think Jose Vega, he's blocked by Richie Torres.
Oh.
The person he's running against, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
But did they make a distinction between whether it's their government account or their personal account, or?
Yeah, that's very, so your personal account, you absolutely can block people from, but you can't just call it a personal account. The courts look at the actual facts. So some government officials have tried that. They say, oh, it's my personal account, but then they're announcing plans and saying, go here to vote and go here to participate.
So it's based on how they actually use it, not how they label it. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can have a mixed use account. So just because you post a couple pictures of your puppy doesn't mean then all of a sudden that's a personal account. You can't get out of it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about the Randy Fine or the of Richie Torres and Jose. I thought it was just kind of a crappy thing to do, not so much that he didn't have a legal right to do it, or if since you said it's kind of a sticky area to litigate. Now
that's probably why you see so many people calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas and much worse, but she doesn't block them.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Either that or she wants the engagement so she makes more money or something like that.
I don't think a lot of these representatives run their accounts, I would say. I wouldn't have the time.
Yeah, I think Randy Fine probably does, because he blocks a lot of people. And it strikes me as that he blocks people who call him fat, actually.
Oh.
So I think
not even in the protected class.
I take clients on, that basically if they're being punished for pro-Palestine speech or, challenging U.S. foreign policy, I'm sort of broadening the mission a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you represent people like Max for free, and you get your funding from donations, correct?
Yes, and we need them these days.
Well, that's why we're flashing it on the screen right now. abc.org. Yeah,
thank you.
You deserve it. You're doing great work. Another organization I like quite a bit is FIRE. I imagine that they're allies to some extent, anyway. Do you know Aaron Tur by any chance?
Yes. Not as well as some of the other attorneys there, but I've had limited interactions with him. We have had many, we have cases together that we co-counsel on, or actually, I don't think we're co-counseling, but I wrote an amicus brief they signed on to, and we consult and work together.
I want to ask you quickly about a case that they're involved in, and see if the shoe were on the other foot and were a Palestinian issue, how you would feel about it. We have another podcast called Probable Cause, and we deal with legal issues exclusively on that show, here just occasionally. Anyway, he was our guest a week or two ago, and we were talking about the Sheila Hendricks case. Have you seen that in the news? This is a woman who had a kid steal from her while she was in a playground, and this was in Minnesota, and then she called the kid who's 9 years old the N-word. And the police charged her with disorderly conduct. Are you familiar with this case?
Yes. Now it's coming back to me. I heard about the incident. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me just show you. It's just a brief thing. This is what happened. So after she called the kid the N-word, some guy who was in the playground started to video her and confronted her about it. And this is what she was convicted. This is the disorderly conduct, supposedly, that we see right here.
Him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
Your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger? That little child?
He acts like one. He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
So what if instead of the N-word, somebody had used an anti-Palestinian slur and been arrested, charged with disorderly conduct? Would that be a case that you would be eager to take?
No, but I would if I worked at Fire.
Okay.
But you know, of course, I defend her First Amendment rights. She absolutely shouldn't be arrested. But you know, given my mission isn't just to take all free speech cases, it would be a little out of, and I have to be selective. It wouldn't really be advancing our overall mission. But if I worked at Fire, which I've considered in the past, I would absolutely defend
But
her.
you agree it's ridiculous. That's not disorderly conduct.
No, that's absolutely not disorderly conduct. Yeah. And there's
to
no
take a
such thing
case
as
like that,
hate
it's very
speech.
Skokie-esque, you know, that famous Skokie, Illinois case that the ACLU took years ago.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's obviously language and an attitude that conflicts with the beliefs of people associated with it on principle.
Yeah. Yeah. The ACLU would not do that case now, I don't think, but.
No. Yeah, I think you're right. They've turned into kind of like a woke anti-Trump organization.
Yeah, they still do some good work, actually. You know, these organizations are comprised of lawyers so some, you know, but yes, overall, I can't say I've been extremely pleased with them, but I probably should hop off.
Okay,
Since we have
you made it clear. You made it clear that your time was limited, so we appreciate it. Just want to remind people that they can follow you on X at Jenin Younes ESQ Esquire. And the website is adc.org. Donations appreciated, folks. So check it out.
Thank you so much,
All right.
Jenin.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Yes, definitely. And have fewer technological problems. See you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye, Jenin. Thank you very much. Okay, I think it's a StreamYard issue.
I think so too. But
yeah, we
okay.
had weirdness last night as well.
Am I better?
No.
Is it still pixelated?
No,
okay,
you
well,
look
there's a storm.
Well, maybe it's yet another StreamYard issue. Because remember I was showing you I had the camera problem before too? I don't know. All right, what did I want to say? Next Tuesday on Probable Cause. Those of you I know we have some overlap on our audience. Last night we showed a video of a fight in New York City that was broken up by State Senator Stephen Chan. Check this out, Morgan. So, you know, Greg and I play different videos of police encounters and then talk about it. So we're playing this video, and, you know, the noteworthy thing going into the video was that this former cop, who's now a state senator, broke up the fight. Anyway, so we're watching it, and the guy who was in the fight, you know, we clearly see him on camera, and it's a news report we're playing. And then in the news report, some bystander is talking about it, and Greg's going, wait a minute, that's the guy. That's the assailant. That's the perpetrator. And he's acting like he's an innocent bystander. So we still don't know for sure if it's just somebody who looks very much like him or not. But anyway, we booked Senator Chan, who is the guy who broke up the fight. Maybe he can straighten it out. So just wanted to alert people who watched last night know what I'm talking about, that we have the senator on next Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Well, that'll be fun. Well, I know that we have, you have your sponsor video that you want to play at some time before we cut off, and then we'll talk more.
All right, let's do that, and then we'll say goodnight. Thank you to GoldGo, our beloved sponsor. Just a word from those nice people, and then we'll say goodnight. Hey, beauties, it's your pal, Jeff. You guys know we're always encouraging people to protect their retirement savings. If you've been curious about physical gold and silver, GoldCo has a free gold and silver kit that explains how precious metals can help diversify your retirement portfolio. Whether you're just starting to look into it or you've been thinking about it for a while, it's a simple way to get more information before making any decisions. And right now, they're also running a limited time promotion. Qualifying customers are eligible for up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver and a free solar generator. Just go to winers.gold and see if you qualify. There's no cost, no obligation, and you can decide for yourself whether it's something that makes sense for you. What do you like better,
Hollywood.
Morgan? Recorded Jeff or live Jeff?
Recorded Jeff is very polished. I will say
Very
that.
polished, yes. How about echo Jeff or non-echo Jeff?
I don't hear the echo. That's the problem.
Well, I hear it, and it's not a problem that you don't hear it. It's a problem that I hear it, and the audience hears it. You not hearing it is. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a problem that you and Jenin heard it. I didn't hear it.
All right. By the way, your picture is crystal clear now. Very unpredictable. So anyway, I plugged our show next week, and why don't you tell our beloved audience about your shows on Saturday?
Yeah, so I do a show on Saturday with former Senator Richard Black. So it's I'm basically his co-host and kind of commentator. We do shows Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and on X at Senator Black's account, Richard Black. You can search up and you'll find. And then on YouTube, it's Focus on the News with Senator Black. And we just kind of go into, sometimes we go into domestic issues, but a lot of the time we go into geopolitics, the wars that are happening. For those of you who don't know, Senator Black was really, really against the intervention wars that we instigated in Syria. He so much so that he wrote to all the senators at the time and it kind of exposed the Timber Sycamore operation that was happening. And Tulsi Gabbard was one of the only senators that showed interest in trying to find out the truth and had a dialogue with Senator Black, and they both tried to stop this, interventionist overthrow policy that we ultimately were successful in Syria. But he tried really hard to stop it. So he is a great man, and I really enjoy working with him. And the show's it's a fun show to do.
And how can people find it?
So you can find it on X. I believe I said it, but I'll kind of make an emphasis about it.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I was reading the comments while you were talking. I totally ignored them through the whole show because of these technical issues. I'm out of sorts completely.
It's all right. But on X, if you look up Richard Black, you'll be able to find our live stream there. Or you can go to YouTube and it's Focus on the News with Senator Black, and we also stream live there.
All right. We got to get banners for that so we can just put it on the screen and make it easy for people to find you.
Yeah.
So remind me to do that, and remind me to file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against StreamYard for besetting us with such terrible technical
Making your life so
issues.
difficult. It's unbelievable.
All right. Well, thanks, Morgan. Thanks to our beloved audience, and hopefully Ryan will be back next week.
Yeah.
As I said, he needed to get a pedicure tonight, and apparently his pedicurist is very hard to get an appointment with, so he couldn't get that moved. So anyway, maybe he'll take photos and insert them next week.
Sometimes I do go to salons, and the nail techs, they actually cannot stand taking men to do pedicures, which is funny, I find, because they don't have to do the color or anything. They just have to, let them soak and get rid of all the extra skin. But they don't.
What's is the answer going to be nauseating? But I'll ask the question anyway. What is the reason they don't want male clients?
I guess maybe they just don't take care of their feet, and so it grosses them out. I don't know, but they'll roll their eyes. They'll be like, I can't take another one. And I think it's kind of funny because you would think it's the opposite. You would think they get paid the same amount to do less work,
right?
In a sense. But no, they don't really like it. So I think that's kind of funny.
If your provider is grossed out, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they still muscle through it.
All right. Well, hopefully Ryan's pedicurist has a little bit more class.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So join us next week. Also Wednesday night, Ask the Inspector with Scott Ritter. Take care, everybody.
Good night.